Hey, what's up guys, it's Kerry from Phoenix and Bow, and welcome to the Sunday Shave. So today I'm going to just explain why I missed the Sunday Shave last week. In essence, it was just down to a very busy weekend, which I'll share those details with you when I get into the bathroom. Okay, alright, autumn is coming here in the UK, maybe, although it's unseasonably warm. And yeah, that's enough of my waffle. I think I'll get on with things. Hi and welcome back to the bathroom. I've got lots to talk about this week. Firstly, apologies for not having a Sunday Shave last Sunday, which would have been, where are we? That would have been the 7th of October. That was mainly down to just having a really busy weekend. I was away down in London on a movement workshop with a company called Fighting Monkey, or Fighting Monkey Rootless Root, as they're called. Slightly strange, maybe abstract name for a company, but they are brilliant. And this was their Anatomy of Injury course. I've got some notes here just from their website. It meant me going down to Shoreditch down in East London and training for 2 very, very full and intensive days. Came away battered and bruised, ruptured fluid sac in my elbow. I think it's called a bursa. So it just goes between joints and the skin, and ordinarily they lay flat. But when if you apply too much pressure, you can be leaning on your elbows or that pointy part of your body. It can rupture and swell up, so mine really sort of puffed out. Lots of bruising where we were doing a lot of grappling, wrestling, and lots of bruised pointy parts, so hips, pelvis, knees, back, all over really. But a really, really good 2 days. I wasn't anticipating spending, I think, almost an hour, the first hour of each day, grappling of sorts really, and fairly intimately getting hold of people that you don't know. It's quite a big workshop, about 50 people, and getting hold of their different body weight centers. So if you think about 3 areas of your body: your head, your pelvis, and your knees. If you move those areas, something else is going to move. So manipulating people's bodies, trying to get them over onto their backs, with them adding varying degrees of resistance, from soft to full power, to full-on wrestling. And on the first day, my first partner, you frequently switch partners. My first partner was a great big guy whose back was about this wide of solid muscle, called Saeed, and I asked him what he did for a living, and he said to me that he's a wrestling coach, and that he was formerly a GB Olympic wrestler. I'm not a wrestler, so it was a real challenge. And in fact, all of the people that I was training with were all predominantly from fighting, mixed martial arts, dance, acrobatics, gymnastics type background, which that isn't my background. So it was a real challenge, training with people like that. They all had a vast amount of knowledge in how to manipulate their bodies, and also mine when it came to these wrestling contests. But hey, I gave a good account of myself. I got crushed like a tin can by Saeed, the wrestler, but it was all good. So yeah, so two days of, it wasn't just wrestling. There was all sorts of other exploration of rhythm and coordinations, and how you deal with being given a physical task to do something which you can't do. So I'm not a dancer, I'm not rhythmical at all, and having to follow the lead of one of the founders, a lady called Linda, who's a professionally trained dancer. And she would move from point A to point B in this gorgeous hall in Shoreditch, in the town hall there, and we'd have to follow her. And she's doing this physical coordination where she's moving her lower body in a certain way and her upper body in another way, and for me it was almost impossible, but I found my way around it. 2 excellent days, 2 very full days, getting home late at night, kind of 9 p.m. So that's why, pardon me, that's why there was no Sunday Shave last week. Fight and Monkey, look them up, really good. You know, if you want to add to your movement practice and look at a movement philosophy which will definitely lend new ways in training, definitely look them up. Fighting Monkey. The practice ball, skills and drills sessions were some of my favourites, so I'll be adding that to my own practice for myself and also for people that I train with and coach. I should say that this video is sponsored and in association with the English Shaving Company, who have very, very kindly and generously sponsored us, or sponsored me, to do the Sunday shave. And what they've provided me with is this here, this lovely razor, which is an Edwin Jagger DE86 double-edged razor. Now, I've been using this for the last week. It is what I would consider to be a beginner's safety razor. It's very nicely weighted. It's a good weight in the hand, and I've got the product here, 66 grams apparently, but it feels nice. It's solid in terms of metal. It's I couldn't actually, it doesn't say, but it appears to be some type of chrome, certainly a chrome finish. It's very nice. In here I have a Permasharp blade, third use. So yeah, certainly worth looking up. And I think what I'm going to do is this will be a giveaway prize for our next giveaway. We're currently holding a giveaway contest or event. So that's the razor that I'm going to be using. The brush is our very nice Cadman Bow synthetic tuxedo knot. Soap, I'm going to be going back to our vegan formula, Mentha specifically. I finished work very late last night, got home at about 2 in the morning. I've just had the obligatory cold shower and I thought let's have a cold shave. So Mentha is stepping up for that duty. You can see it there. And also, to finish things off, I'm working on a aftershave splash formula, and I think it's almost there. So the intent is to have this out, or this range out, in time for Christmas. Probably Star Noir to go as a set with our Star Noir Christmas seasonal soap, and also Spitfire, and maybe Albion or Imperial Rum to begin with, and then in time, if it's received well, the full range of core scents. So this is it here. I've just decanted it into this vessel just because that's all I had to hand. In here we have, as you would expect, denatured alcohol, witch hazel extract, aloe vera juice, vegetable glycerin, sodium lactate and panthenol. So fantastic astringent, as you would hope from a high quality denatured alcohol, and then the witch hazel and the aloe lend themselves to soothing and healing the skin, and the glycerin and sodium lactate is in there to help with skin absorption and skin feel. We don't want it to be too drying, and also a little bit of moisturising power, and the panthenol also has healing properties. So it's I really enjoy using this. That's not me just standing here as Kerry from Phoenix and Bow. I didn't realise how excited I'd get about using an aftershave splash. You know, it's just part of that traditional kind of feel, old school. Get a splash on your face, get that lovely sting and burn. This is unscented, so it smells predominantly of alcohol, but that dissipates. You know, I've got to nail the formula down. I think this is pretty much there, and then I will work out how I'm gonna scent it, how strong I'm gonna scent it. So that's the shave. Let's get a move on because I've got lots to do today. So for the vegan, because it's a thirsty formula, you can see this lather just dripping out, bigger bubbles. I don't want them. I use quite a wet brush, and then I tune it from there, meaning that I like to get the consistency. I mean, Mentha, because it's mentholated, it's a very soft soap actually, but you can see those strings. I don't know if you saw it there. Look at that, it's so gooey. It almost has like there's a plasticity to it. It's very, very gooey. And I like to build my lather on my face. This is a really, really dense lather, specifically mentha, that is. The normal vegan range is, is very dense, but there is kind of almost a like a liquid bubblegum almost type consistency to mentha, and that's because of the menthol crystals that we add to the formula. I like to use cold water to rinse my blade between passes, and that cold water shave with a mentholated soap really boosts that sort of cold sensation on the skin. Okay, we'll start just making sure the razor is correctly seated with the grain. I'm just going to go for a one pass shave today because I did shave yesterday, albeit that was a one pass also. I've been working this weekend, so I've been very busy, quite short on time. I just wanted to tidy things up today and also speak to you. Yeah, so I went into the Fighting Monkey workshop pretty low on energy, and it was very full on. So both physically and also mentally, because I was having to learn and put my body through new movement situations and having to comprehend, having to understand the instructions given to us. So the physical coordinations of getting across this hall was very, very challenging for me. Very challenging. To the point where I was thinking, what is this about? Why am I here for this? This isn't really me. So I was quite close to just kind of sitting that section out. I didn't, which I'm very happy about. So I suppose that's part of the challenge. That was part of the challenge, was to see how you find a strategy or a way around that given circumstance and that specific scenario. Yeah, so what you've got to remember is that you've got somebody like Linda, who is a professionally trained dancer. She moves like a ghost. She's so fluid. She's like water, just going, so graceful. And that type of movement just came to her evidently very, very easily, and she is what we would describe as an unconscious competence. So she's not even thinking about how awesome she is, whereas idiots like me, who aren't dancers, who can't dance, who embarrass their kids by dancing, even in the home environment, somebody like me trying to copy somebody like her, it was very tricky. But I found my rhythm. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. This area here for me, under my chin, it just holds on to hair. Really annoyingly. Seems to hide. If I'm just doing a one pass and I'm going with the grain, there's quite a prominent shadow of beard under here. It doesn't matter what razor I'm using, it just doesn't pick it up. So even on the one pass, I have to go at it against the grain. Actually, I lied. I'm going to have a quick second pass, I think. Cold water to rinse between passes, definitely when using something like mentha. Again, it just really kind of amplifies that mentholated, that coolness on the skin, which is really nice on a Sunday morning. So some news then, in the context of Phoenix and Bow. We have just received some sticker prototypes for our utility oil, and they're almost there. Sarah just needs to tweak them. They're not finalised, which is why I'm not sharing them with you here today. I'll do that next week. But they look brilliant, and all things being equal, we hope and we intend to get the utility oils out by the end of this month, by the end of October, around Halloween time in fact. So the utility oil is it's a 10 ml product, 10 millilitres, so a very useful travel size. This is a product which lends itself really, really well if you're tight on space, if your wash kit, small. I think wash kits are also known over in the States as a dock bag. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But your wash kit, you can just pop one of these little bottles about this big in there and have a pipette. You'll see it next week. We've called it utility oil because it lends itself really well to being pre-shave oil. A few drops rubbed into the skin just adds another layer of slickness and moisturising power to your shave. You could also use it as a shaving oil, or if you are of the bearded persuasion, beard oil. I used to be a bearded chap, used to have a massive beard, about a 10-inch beard, and I used it for that, and it moisturised my beard really, really well. It will be coming out to begin with in 2 flavours, 2 scents. One is Wilderness, so a woodsy scent, and the other is called Summit, which is kind of an uplifting, refreshing scent. And again, like with all of our products, we'll see how they're received, and always very keen to expand the range of scents that we offer. So very excited about that. Okay, so that's the shave. I'm just going to clean down and just wrap things up. As always, get the lather into the face. Don't waste any of the goodness. Oh boy, this is cold. That, that was a really, that was just what I needed. I still feel quite tired from yesterday, but that certainly picked me up. Right, okay, some of this aftershave. This isn't ideal. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest, getting it out. I have to invert it, and you can hear the noise. It kind of goes everywhere, but there we are. This stuff is brilliant. The burn does pass. Oh, it goes into the skin really nicely. I'm really happy with this. Okay, so there we are. That kind of wraps everything up for today. Just a quick summary of the shave. It was brought to you in association with and sponsored by the English Shaving Company, who are one of our stockists. Really nice people to do business with. Please check them out. They very generously sponsored me by providing me with this Edwin Jagger double-edged razor, which is a DE86 black chrome finish. In there today I had a Permasharp blade, 3rd use, really nice smooth blades, probably my favourite double-edged blade. Brush was my very trusty and gorgeous white pearlescent handled, good detail, beautiful brush. Cadman bow brush, made for us by the very talented Mervyn Cadman over in Colchester here in England. The soap was our vegan Mentha soap. You can see the remnants of the gooiness in there. You'll be able to get this by Christmas along with the rest of the vegan range. And just to wrap things up, I used a generous amount of our upcoming aftershave splash. So there we are. Really busy week. Great weekend last weekend. Pretty knackered on the back of it. I rested all week, and I'm just kind of getting my power back to start moving and training again. So that's what I'm going to be doing today and onwards. Get back up to speed. So I hope you're well. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, shave right, feel brilliant.